Hey, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, then welcome. My name is Maddie, and today I will be sharing the rest of the books that I read in the latter half of June. I did do a mid-month wrap-up of the first 3 books that I read in June in a separate video. If you'd like to watch that, I'll leave that linked on the screen, of course, but in this video, I'll be talking about the rest of the books that I read in the second half of June, and I ended up reading 3 more books, which makes a total of 6 books read this month. I think that's the least amount of books that I've read in a month this year so far. There were a few days during this month where I wasn't reading because my hours at work have been going up, which is good. That's what I was hoping for because I really need to work right now because we are way more busy in the summertime. So for that reason, I have had a lot less time to read technically, but more so I've been working so hard at work this month that I've been too tired to read when I get home. So because of that, because there were a couple days this month where I wasn't reading, that did affect the amount of books I was reading, but my average books read per month lately has been 7, so this is still pretty close to my average. Like, I still managed to read 6 books this month, which is still a great number for me. And all decently good books this month. I didn't rate anything under 3 stars, which is good. For the books I'll be talking about today, I had 2 books that I gave 3 stars and 1 I gave 5 stars. So that's pretty okay. At least I have a 5-star in there, but I will be talking about some books today that did disappoint me. So let's just get right into it. Starting off, I have Does It Hurt by H.T. Carlton. I was really looking forward to reading this book because I loved H.T. Carlton's cat and mouse duet. I loved Haunting Adeline so much. And I always say that I'm always in the mood to read a dark romance. Like, I love dark romance. I'm always going to want to read dark romance. I take that statement back. I take that back after reading this book because I think when I read this, I was not in the mood for a dark romance, which is crazy to say, but I think the fact that I wasn't in the mood for a dark romance did affect my rating of this one. So let's talk about what this one is about. So this one follows Sawyer, who is a fugitive leaving America and going over to Australia. To stay undercover, she steals the identity of guys that she sleeps with in order to not be found. She meets Enzo and she ends up stealing his identity, and he finds out and he is, of course, not happy about it. And so he finds Sawyer again and he takes her out on his boat to punish her in a way that I won't reveal, but I'm getting flashbacks. It was quite a punishment. But they end up caught in a storm and they get shipwrecked. They make it onto this island where the only person there owns the lighthouse, and this guy is very suspicious for reasons, but they have nowhere else to go, so they do end up staying with him. Sawyer and Enzo can't stand each other, even though they had a great initial connection. Because of what Sawyer did to Enzo with stealing his identity, he cannot stand her and he is very cruel to her. But since they are spending so much time together alone on this island, feelings do arise between them. So I'm going to talk about what I did like about this book first. So I really loved Sawyer for her strength with enduring through life, even though she kind of wants to just die because she's been through so much and she is so sick of having to hide her identity and who she is, but she does persevere through it, and I really admired that about her. And what happened in her past is so heartbreaking, and you don't know what it is until it's revealed later on, although it is a bit predictable. Once you look at the trigger warnings for this book, I was able to put together what happened to her, but it did not lessen the blow when I officially found out what she went through. It was really terrible, and I really felt for her. I would say her character arc is just the best thing about this book because it is so inspiring, and I'm sure that a lot of people who have been in a similar situation to her could really connect to her. I also like the mystery suspense plot that we get with the lighthouse keeper, which I won't talk on because that would reveal spoilers, but that mystery with him really kept me reading. Now we'll talk about everything I did not like about this book. So I started to find Enzo really annoying, which is not good because he is one of the main characters. But what I did like about him is his passion for the sea, because he is a shark behavioral researcher and he appreciates everything that has to do with the ocean. And his backstory was interesting and really sad, but I think his response to his trauma was an issue because it causes him to be cruel to Sawyer when he could have tried to understand her more and tried to understand the reasoning as to why she steals other people's identity. He could have done that instead of drawing conclusions about her. And their scenes together were way too repetitive, with them constantly berating each other that they hate each other, and it really got old. I feel like the enemies part in this enemies to lovers relationship was way too drawn out and not in a good way. And this relationship is dark, which makes sense because it is a dark romance, but for some reason the dark aspect of the relationship just felt really cringe. And this is coming from someone who reads a lot of dark romance, but I don't know, the relationship in this one just felt so cringy. Enzo would just blurt out the cringiest of lines, saying that he wants to be Sawyer's source of pain, even though he apparently loves her. And I just don't get it. Like, how is that supposed to be romantic? This is why I've concluded that I'm going to be taking a break from reading dark romance because I don't think the genre is working for me right now. I think I'm way more in the mood to read romances that are more sweeter. I think I'm starting to find that out about myself. I just love sweet romances where the characters like so obviously care about each other and don't hate on each other and degrade each other and then call that love, like that's supposed to be love for each other. It makes no sense. I just want to read I just want to read sweet romances. So like I said, the fact that I wasn't in the mood for this one right now may have hindered my rating on it. So this would be a interesting one to return to when I am more in the mood to read a dark romance and see after a reread if my rating on it increases. I'm not sure, but for right now, I'm rating this one a 3 stars. It was just fine, but I definitely was not feeling it at the moment. Next, I think this is my favorite book that I read this month. I'm pretty sure. It was just so good, and that is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This is the follow-up sequel to her book Not in Love, which I also read in June. I talked about it in my mid-month wrap-up for June, and I really enjoyed that book, but I loved this one even more. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is my favorite book by Ali Hazelwood that I've read so far. So let's talk about what this one is about. This follows Maya, who has had a crush on her brother's best friend and work partner Connor for a while, but it has never gone anywhere because Connor insists that they never be together because of their huge age gap. Connor rejected Maya about a year ago after getting into a relationship himself, but the two are taking a trip together for her brother's wedding, so they are forced to be around each other again. And because they're always together now, they are forced to like really confront their feelings for each other, and they kind of act upon them. This book shocked me because in Not in Love, we get one very brief scene between Maya and Connor in the same vicinity, and Maya very obviously flirts with Connor, but he acts completely indifferent to her, so he makes it seem like he's not into her. But come to find out that these two have so much history together, where Connor helped her while she was going through a really bad breakup, and he would check in on her and he would send her gifts, which is insane because if he never wanted Maya to grow feelings for him, why the hell would he do all that for her? You cannot do that to a girl. You cannot shower her with gifts, constantly call her and check up on her, make sure she's okay, and not expect her to develop a crush. Like, he's every woman's dream, and he's just like, no, we can't let anything happen. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you feeling this way? Dude. He was really frustrating because it's like, you cannot do that to a girl. I would have acted the same way as Maya. I would have been all over him because he does all this stuff for her. Oh my god, he was so just oblivious and unreasonable. Like, of course she grew a crush on him. There's a push and pull between them throughout this whole book because Connor is so adamant that they should not have a relationship because of their 15-year age gap, which honestly, it is a valid concern because Maya is 23 and Connor is 38, and a 23-year-old and 38-year-old are at completely different stages of their lives. But I liked watching these two realize that that all doesn't matter as long as the love is there, and as long as the dynamic between them stays equal, then there really isn't that much of a problem. And because Maya is of age, she's not a teenager. If she was a teenager, that would be a whole different story. But she is an adult, and so, you know, she's allowed to date whoever she wants. And so as they come to realize those things, they kind of just let everything go, and they, like, act on their feelings for each other, and it's just the best thing ever. I'm such a sucker for age gap romances. Oh my goodness. It just cause for so much angst and drama. And I also found it funny how the fact that Connor is her brother's best friend wasn't even really an issue. They were more just focused on the fact that they had a huge age gap, but when it came to her potentially dating her brother's best friend, they kind of just let that go. I just thought that was really funny. The main reason why I love this book is because of the dynamic of this relationship. Maya is really bubbly while Connor is more like aloof and chill, and so they really balance each other out. And I laughed every single time that Maya made a joke about Connor being an old man, or when she'd constantly tease him and he'd get all bashful. Those scenes just never got old. Without a doubt, my favorite book from Ali Hazelwood so far, and I think the main reason why that is because, like I've mentioned before, Ali Hazelwood's books focus and revolve around STEM, which is really cool, but I don't know much about science, and so all those scenes kind of go over my head. But in this book, there was still some talk about STEM, but it was not as prevalent as it is in previous books that I've read by her. This one more solely focuses on the romance, and I think that's why this one is my favorite of hers so far. And I also, like I said, I just love age gap romances. So I think this is also my favorite romance that I have read from her so far, and that might stay that way. I give this one 5 out of 5 stars. It was just so good. The perfect summer read as well. And the last book that I read in June was so disappointing. I think about this book still, and it makes me so mad. And I'm going to be mad while I talk about it. And so that one is The Beautiful Maddening by Shay Earnshaw. I was inclined to pick this book up because The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw is definitely one of my favorite books. It is up there. I really, really love that book. So I've been wanting to read more from her, and this is her newest release that released in June. I just... I have so much to say about it. Let's just get into what it's about. So this follows Lark, who has lived with this curse since she was born. This curse has been in her family for years, in which every summer when the magical tulips in her backyard bloom, everyone will automatically fall in love with her. And Lark knows that she is destined to never find authentic love because of this curse. However, she meets a boy named Oak, who is indifferent to her when he first meets her and seems to be unaffected by this curse. Curious about him, she gets to know him more, and she hopes that he will fall in love with who she is and not be affected by the curse. So this book, it started off so good, so good. Like, I legit thought this was going to be a 5 stars because the first half of it was... oh, I was loving it. I like the setup of following this girl with this curse and how she deals with never being loved in a genuine way and how lonely that makes her feel. And it was quite devastating, just really, really sad. And I was really feeling for her in this situation that she's in. I was rooting for her so badly to find a love that was authentic and real, and for someone not just to love her because of the tulips and this curse, because that is not genuine and authentic love at all. She's not being loved in the right way. The romance between her and Oak was really, really good, and I could feel their chemistry right away. There's obviously a lot of push and pull between them, as Lark fears that he's only into her because of the curse. So that creates a lot of angst, which I love. But unfortunately, I feel like the second half of this book just declined for me. The relationship between Oak and Lark became focused on Lark constantly pushing him away, and in turn, Oak constantly pushing her away for reasons over and over again, that I had forgotten where their spark came from in the first place, because all they were doing now was just arguing, and it caused for a lot of inconsistency with the relationship. But the biggest issue I had with this book was its ending. This has to be one of, if not the worst ending I have ever read in a book, which of course I won't reveal how this book ends, but the ending completely negated Lark's character development that we get throughout this whole book, and it just makes no freaking sense. What she does is so out of character for her, and I've tried to come to conclusions on what message the ending is trying to give, and the only message I could come up with is a horrible message that nobody should apply to real life. I do not know what Shay Earnshaw was thinking going in this direction. I don't know what the developmental editor was thinking, like why they allowed this ending to happen. They should have gone to the author and been like, hey, this is a really bad ending and it completely destroys the main character's character development. I wouldn't leave it in there. Apparently they thought the ending was fine and they just left it in there. I'm bewildered. I do not understand. If any of you have read this book, let me know what you thought of the ending. Did you click with it? Because is there something I'm not getting? Because the way this book ended infuriated me. I feel bamboozled. I feel lied to. I feel like I wasted my entire time reading this book because the payoff of the ending like destroyed everything that was developed in the story. Insane. So yeah, this one was so disappointing. I did give it 3 stars. I should almost bump it down to a 2 stars, honestly. That's how bad the ending was. It's been sitting at a 3 star for me. I might change it to a 2 star, honestly, because that's how mad I am. The only reason I'm not rating it, like, at least right now, lower than the 3 stars is because the first half of this book was so good, but it went downhill badly, really badly. So yeah, one of the most disappointing books I've read this year. Very, very, very sad about it. Oh, it kills me. So that is the rest of the 3 books that I have read this month. I will talk about what I'm currently reading because I am currently reading something. So the book I am not even in the middle of, I like just started, I'm like 50 pages in. That is If Only I Could Tell You by Hannah Beckerman. I'm reading this book for a video, which I won't talk about what video this one is going to be in. I've been really, really secretive about that in past videos I've done. I've like mentioned I'm doing this video, but I won't tell you much more about it. But I do have a video where this book will be featured. So I'm reading this book for that video. This one is a family drama, which is different from me. I don't think this book has any romance in it whatsoever. This book just focuses on a family, which I don't read many books that deal with that kind of scenario. So this is a very different read for me. The characters are also like really aged up. We're talking, these are main characters in their 40s. We're also following a character who's in their 60s. So this is a completely different book for me, but so far it's pretty good. It does have a mystery in it as well, and that's keeping me reading it. I do want to continue reading it because I want to know what happened to tear this family apart, you know. So I'm gonna keep reading it and hopefully it's good. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I picked this book up at my local thrift store, and I specifically got it because it is a Book of the Month book, and I've been really loving books from Book of the Month because I have a subscription to them. So because of that, I had a feeling I would like this, but we'll just see how the rest of it goes. Also, I finished this book last night, but I didn't include it in this wrap-up because I technically finished it in July, even though I read most of it in June. I'm just going to include it in my July wrap-up. But that is Lover Eternal. This is the second book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. I am currently rereading the books that I have already read in this series. I have not completed the series yet because it's an incredibly long series, but I am going to complete the series this time. Lover Eternal, the second book, so freaking good. I loved this book when I first read it, and I loved it just the same, if not even more, than the first time I read it. Oh my god, Rage is definitely one of my favorite brothers in the Black Dagger Brotherhood. He's just so great, and he's been through so much, and he goes through so much character development in this book. I just eat it up, and I love his romance. His romance with Mary. So sweet. That's all I'll say about it. I'll talk about it more in my wrap up for July, but of course this one upon reread is still a 5 out of 5 stars. It is just such a cute book. And I guess that's it. Definitely let me know if you've read any of the books that I have mentioned. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. Or mention any books that you read in June. I'd love to know what you read. Definitely like this video if you did like it. That would help me out a lot. Also be sure to follow me on my other social media if you're interested. I'll have those links down in the description box below. I do also want to mention that I do plan to upload every Sunday evening. That is my plan. That way you know when to expect videos from me. And so far I've been sticking to that plan, so that is good. So in that case, I will be back with another video next Sunday. Bye!